Hello everyone! In today's Pondcast we're going to be looking at the theme of weather. That's your focus theme for the week, and we can look at the impact it has on the pond life. Before we get started though, Minnie Miss Hull has got two flags that she's flying today, one for Zachariah and one for Yakia, because they created amazing sock tadpoles and mind maps after last week's Pondcast. Thank you so much boys, I was thrilled to receive them. Woo! Well done you two! Okay, let's look at our keywords for today. Our first word is spring. Elements, shelter, and metamorphosis. Firstly, let's focus on spring. This is the season that we're in at the minute, and the season that brings the most new life around the year. You might want to go back to the very first Pondcast and compare the pond life then to the pond life now. If we take a look, you can see just how tall the pond reeds have grown in the last few weeks, and just how much have grown in the last few weeks, how many have grown in the last few weeks. Also, since then, we have obviously developed from having frogs spawn in our pond to now having tadpoles that are developing. The sun being out and it being springtime has also affected the water level. I'll give you a chance to take a closer look. As you can see along the back of our pond, we have our brick wall lining it in. Then we have our black pond lining. Then we have this green stuff here, which I think most of you will commonly now know as algae. Our water level used to be right up here by the algae, but can you see? It's reduced, and the pond surface level doesn't start till there. That's because it has been so sunny at the moment and the water has evaporated. We're going to have a look to see what this impact was here. So I'm going to dip my ruler just gently into the pond, so I'm definitely starting at 0 centimetres, and I can measure how much water's been lost, and it's around 5 centimetres all the way around the perimeter of the pond. You'd have to do a lot more tricky scientific tests to test that completely, but you get a rough idea of the impact of the sunlight on the pond life. However, the tadpoles go through a process called metamorphosis to change into frogs, and they need the sunlight to develop. So you can just see here, there are some tadpoles swimming on the surface, and at the moment they've still got their big round heads and their tails. They look slightly browner than they did when we looked at them in the tub though, and that's because their colouring starts to change with the sunlight. Now we're going to take a look at shelter, because as the pond life grows, the animals in the pond use the shelter to protect themselves from the elements, which was that other keyword. Elements such as wind or rain. Quite often our adult frogs hide within the reeds down here, and you can spot them on an evening. I'm hoping to be able to get them on video one day for you. Or one of our adult frogs really enjoys hiding behind this very back reed here. And it's because they are sheltered and protected from the weather as well as predators. Now, finally, one thing that's really important for our tadpoles as they grow and for our other pond life is that water level rises again. So, when it rains, the water level starts to go up, and we can just simulate that a little bit now. As the tadpoles grow, they learn that as the water comes, there's more nutrients in the water, and they know to come to the surface to collect the nutrients from the rainwater. For now, ours are quite happy munching on the little bit of cucumber we put in for them. Don't know how well you can see them down there, from the other day. Now, I've got you some activities you can be doing whilst you're waiting for the next Pondcast. The first one is for you to have a chance to observe the evaporation we talked about when we talked about the impact of the sun. So, you need to get yourself a plastic tub that your parents don't mind you using and that can be put somewhere where there's quite a bit of sunlight, maybe like a windowsill or something like that where it won't get disturbed. You then need a cup of water, and you are just going to pour some water into the tub. There we go. When you've done that, use a marker pen to mark off on your tub the water level. You might even want to write the date or something so you know exactly when you saw that water level. And then leave that water in the tub for maybe a week, couple of weeks, and keep coming back and checking if the water level has reduced. If it's in a warmer place, it should reduce quicker because evaporation takes place quicker in warmer areas. But have a go for yourselves and let us know what you find. Your next challenge is to measure rainfall. Your parents might have a jug or a form of measuring cylinder like this at home, and you could ask if you could borrow it and place it outside somewhere where it will definitely get some rainfall if it rains. I've chosen one that has a scale on it automatically to help me, so I'd be able to measure how much rainfall we'd had. But what you could do is simply leave a cup outside like this one, and when it has rained, bring your measuring jug out, pour the contents of the cup into the measuring jug, and you will find out how much rainfall you have had. And then you can simulate for yourselves, using those two experiments, the experiences of the pond life in the pond. We hope you enjoy learning all about the weather next week. Let us know how you get on. Stay safe. Thank you. Bye.